Good morning to you all. We are back at Singapore, second test race of the season prior to the 2020 WRS World Realistic Series. One of the most exciting races I've seen has been last week. Last week's Saturday, I think it was. We had a lot of drama. Three safety cars, one virtual safety car and two on-track safety cars. Plenty of overtakes. Wants to watch definitely Kingski. AMC has shown that he has a strength to himself in overtaking and tucking into the slipstream. What can he do with this amazing setup? Can he set up his car perfectly for today's race? We'll see how fast the drivers can go today during the qualifying session. 16 minutes and 41 seconds to go for the drivers to prove themselves that they can all achieve the pole position. As we already have some sort of problem with double yellow flags in sector 2. Looks like it might just be someone going slowly for the getting ready for the qualifying lap. Here we see the Williams of KJ in realistic performance. Won't be as easy for him, but he has shown that he is strong. He can fight for the win today. As we hit the double yellow flags in sector 2 once again. Oof, as AMC actually has a problem, looks like his wheel might have disconnected. AMC has been in the wall, looks like he's got damage now. Does he have damage? Looks like his front wing is slightly chipped off. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him coming into the pits after that lap. Yes, he must have damage now. He would not be going so slow around a track like this and overshooting corners with a normal front wing. 23 corners, Yas Marina circuit in Singapore. That is the place we're racing at today. 3 sectors divided with 2 DRS zones, one on the starting straight and one further down in sector 1. This track is brutal. People will DNF on this track. This is something inevitable. Thanos will click and drivers will fly off the track. That is just the way this track handles its drivers. As the runner now lets his teammate through. Looks like he will be going into the pits as the first hot lap is set by ATW. It is a 140.903, which is actually beaten by the Ferrari 138.1017. That is 2 seconds faster, more than 2 seconds faster than ATW at the moment. Does look like it's only been a fresh lap, so somebody will probably defeat that. As AMC has retired from the session after having damage or losing out on fuel. He has decided to sit back and start the race from last position. 8 cars have now set a fastest lap, the fastest lap that they can possibly produce. The one to beat is still killers of the Ferrari, 138.017. Looks like we might have some new favourites for the race today. Last week we had a KJ fighting strong for the win. Kingski, of course, he won and proved that he is capable of doing a lot of overtakes, a lot of defending and setting a lot of fast laps. Can he roll out on the last moments the way he did last week and set the fastest lap? This is a track where something like that is very risky. He might not want to risk that. He might like to leave the pits early and set a laps on 2 occasions. After all, you never know, maybe there's plenty of places to chip off your wing, chip off your tyre. With 23 corners, this track is very brutal on the tyres. That is why drivers need to make sure that they control tyre temperature throughout the entirety of the weekend. As we actually hit a yellow flag, double yellow flags into the 3rd sector. Killer setting another lap. He's about to finish up sector 1. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 seconds that he's going through the sector. 26.7. That sets him the fastest sector 1. He is currently on the road to be his own fastest lap. Can he though? Perfectly smooth for every single corner, edging off every single apex, making sure not to clip the apex, which can end his run. But there he goes, perfect kissing of the apex, and once again, this man is just smooth. That is overshooting at the corner very sincerely. That might cost him improving his lap. Right on the apex once again, as he is now actually in 2nd after the McLaren beat him. The time to beat is now 1:37.9. He is only a 1/10 of a second behind though. Can he improve his lap? He's now in sector 3. He did not set the fastest sector of sector 2. As he goes through 22, 23, and through after corner 23, he returns to the top spot by chipping off over 4/10 of a second off the racing point. Sorry, I thought it was McLaren earlier. The racing point will have to live up to the new time of the pole position. Many drivers now in the pits. The McLaren of ACW, he has shown that he is strong, he has shown that he is capable of overtaking. As he goes through the last corners, last sector, sector 3, under the tunnel. Left, right, as the drivers like to say, as there is a yellow flag in that sector. Kissing of the apex, he moves through the last corners. That was corner 21. As he actually goes into the pits, it did seem like a fairly solid lap. Well, being 6 definitely does not please him. He will be out and running once again. As here we see the current favourite for a win, Kingsley in the McLaren. He is now out, going through sector 3, preparing to make his final, well, not final, possibly he will try to go out again, but he is going out to make his fastest lap. He threads every single corner perfectly to carry as much speed as possible into the starting straight. He brakes nice and late, but perfectly into the first corner. He now moves through the first chicanes, going down a straight, perfectly threading the needle while turning right, kissing the apex as every single other driver has done. Sector 1 will now shortly come to a close. He has not actually set the fastest sector in sector 1, which is slightly surprising if you ask me. This driver has shown that he can fight for something more than just a win. He will be going for the championship, and yes, this is only a test race, but this is the point where the drivers show whether they can drive clean and whether they can drive fast. That is what will give them the positions in the different teams during the championship. As that was a very aggressive downshift there, it might cost him a bit of time. He is still in sector. He has now entered sector 3. He is not on the fastest lap as of now. it doesn't look like the weekend's starting too well for the reigning winner. Friendly sector 3 under the tunnel once again. Cars are linking past which start up. Yet double yellow flags. Threading the last corners. This is Kingsley for sector 3. He goes to the corner 22, 23. Putting him into second. 137.7 from the reigning winner of this league. He is dangerous, as Killers, the current pole position sitter, just emerges from the pits right behind him, now slowing down to let the drivers pass and make sure that he has enough space to start off his hot lap, saving all the ERS, warming up the tyres, and getting the fuel load ready. These are just 3 of the main things that the drivers need to take into consideration when preparing the car for the fastest lap. The team principals will now be watching the races, hoping that the drivers can achieve something more than last week. Some of the drivers have not had the best race. Jacob showing that he is quite a dirty driver actually. We had 3 retirements if I am correct, 3 safety cars. Yes, Marina, we know things like this will happen a lot more. Hopefully we don't have such a big crash like the one we had in on this track in 2017 between Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Räikkönen, Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. As a Toro Rosso actually hits fastest lap on the previous lap. Sorry that I did not notice that. 137.3, 1/10 of a second faster than the driver who was on pole position. Kingsley will now be going into the pits, setting up, getting some new tyres on. With 5 minutes to go, he still has time. As Killers? This does not look well for him. He was supposed to start a lap. His ERS is going down quite aggressively, so we do see that he is attempting to do his hot lap. However, what is kind of surprising is the way he slowed down into 23. But he is now willing to show that he is faster than the Toro Rosso. Going through sector 1, he is absolutely pushing his car to the limits, and not only his car but his potential and his talent. All these drivers in this league are very talented. We've seen that last race, making plenty of overtakes, beautiful overtakes, making them stick, as I love to say. At this track, overtaking will not be as easy, but the overtakes that do take place will be spectacular. I promise you that. As he actually cuts the corner, so he is not trying to go for fastest lap anymore. His lap has definitely been disqualified. As we now see the racing point of Reiki going through the tunnel. Looks like he cannot pit because of his teammate currently being put into the pits. He has a lot of VRS. He is not going to be setting this fastest lap this lap. Does he pull into the pits? Yes, he does. The Red Bulls have made some staggering choices for the drivers. Can the drivers prove that they're capable of this, of upholding this team spirit? Can they act like a raging bull? Can they act like a Max Verstappen? Can they be aggressive and make overtakes even when other drivers will not be able to do so? Or will we have a Maldonado in this race, in this league? That will not be very good. That Maldonado would probably get kicked within 2 races after hitting 2 penalty points. Hopefully we do not though. The Red Bull is now on his out lap. ACW coming into the pits by the looks of it. Jacob cutting the corner as well. Drivers seem to be struggling a lot in sector 2, especially with turn 8. Jacob is now out of fuel. He will need to crawl back into the pits. With 2 minutes and 52 seconds to go, it does not seem as if he can make another run. He will have to accept P11. As I've said, 2 minutes 44 seconds. The Red Bull of Manuel is out on track, trying to push the limits. Once again, out lap. Here he goes. Turn 1. slightly braking too late and not touching the apex, which is not the most desirable way to go around the corner, as he slightly goes off track there, just beyond the white line, and he has lifted off there. It seems like as if his hopes for pole position might be slightly shattered, but you never know, he might have something up his sleeve, maybe another joker. No, he has clearly given up at this point. Looks like he's wasted a lot of his ERS on his outlap, 41%. That does not seem sufficient enough. Killers is once again out on track. He will need to push his car through the outlap and to make sure that he comes in before the time runs out. He has 1 minute and 40 seconds to make the lap while warming up his tyres and saving ERS and saving fuel. As the Williams it looks as if the Williams has DNF'd. I think it was the Williams. No, it was the Toro Rosso. The Toro Rosso of Fletcher, who has been sitting on pole position with a 137.09, has DNF'd. I repeat, the pole position sitter has DNF'd. 2 DNFs in this quali. At the Toro Rosso, O'Brien goes out for another hot lap with 1 minute to go. He will not. I think this will be his final run, kissing every single apex, making sure he threads every single needle as he overshoots that corner massively. That looks like pole hopes have gone out the window as he hits the wall. Plenty of mistakes made by this driver. He is biting into his own time at this point, but P2 is not a bad place to start this track. Anything within the top 3 rows, as shown in past races, is capable of winning. This track is also known to be very strong for having little cheap places on the game, little spots where codemasters have not coded the game too well, juxtaposing their own name. They call themselves codemasters, yet there's many places on this track where you can cheat the code, not get penalties while cutting the corners just slightly. As we have 3 DNFs now. The time is set. All drivers will have to now complete the final laps. Killers in the Ferrari is making some amazing effort. He has currently beaten his fastest lap on this tyre. However, he is on the tyre for 2 laps. Kingsky in P6, he is currently making his lap. He's in sector 2. It does not look too well for him, as all eyes are now on the Ferrari of Killers, as the other Ferrari actually hits P2. The Toro Rosso now just dragging it back, while the Ferrari of Killers, all eyes on him. A lot of pressure right now. He will be willing to make this pole position, as he is fastest in sector 2, threading every single corner, going under the barriers, dancing through every single corner perfectly. Just beautiful. As much as I hate Ferrari, this car is just beautiful at this moment, at this track. He is doing an amazing effort under the tunnel. Out he goes, sector 3. Just that one last bit to tackle. Corner 21. As it goes up into corner 22, right by the pit lane. 23. Can he make the pole position? Yes, he can. He has made pole position, 136.8, with all drivers out off track now. Kingsky in P3, Fletcher P2, and Killers in P1. What an amazing lap. Just perfect, as Hybrid has actually not set any lap. He has been a strong contester last race. Many drivers are out now. We must remember that many of these drivers are also reserve drivers, after main drivers could not race. But this has been an amazing lap from Killers in the Ferrari. Absolutely beautiful. Dancing under the lights of the Yas Marina circuit. As this is your starting race, this is your starting grid for today's race. The Ferrari of Killers in P1, Fletcher in P2, of the Toro Rosso quite far behind Killers, 0.3 seconds behind. Kingsky is in third, 137.1 lap from him. Scotsman Argentinians Hispanic people, Aussies, Austrians, Portuguese, and Dutch people, Greeks, Belgians, they're all here. This race will be amazing. We're all here connected from around the entire world, which might open up space for some lag between the drivers. Hopefully not though. Now the drivers will be tackling 23 corners and 2 DRS zones and an unbelievably tough circuit. Who will win this race? Tell us in the comment section right now. In the comment section below, we have just found out that some drivers have had issues with the steering column. All the drivers are now getting ready. Last sips of water before the race. This will be amazing. I think I'll go get some extra water myself. No, I cannot. The race begins. This is the formation lap, of course. Killers in P1. Absolutely amazing pole lap from him. That was just spectacular. The McLaren of Kingski is in a standstill. I do not know if he has had a penalty or whether he is AFK, but his teammate ACW is now out, warming his tyre up. Seems like we've got a very diverse tyre strategy for this race. 31 laps around the circuit, which is very aggressive on the tyres. Some drivers have decided to start on the hard compound, which is very surprising if you ask me, because starting on this circuit on a hard compound will pull you back from your opponents probably up to 1 second per lap. But they are playing the long game. They hope to make this race on a one stop. Remember that this is realistic performance and a 50% race. Kingski's still in a standstill, which looks bad for the driver who has won the previous race. I don't know whether he has problems with his game, with the internet, but it's happening. As Killers is actually pushing his car to the very limits, even on the formation lap. He is keen on showing what he is capable of. He was not able to do so last race. Car swing from side to side. We do not have a Kimi Räikkönen who has lost his steering wheel and cannot swerve from side to side. All the drivers will be keen on making the most of their performance today. The two Mercedes of most and Ivan actually, and P11 and P12, kind of surprising that they are not upholding the team spirit of the Mercedes team, but they will want to prove how strong they are later in this race. 20 cars now line up. We are waiting for the runner of AMC, the driver who will be very strong this race for sure. Hybrid is already out on track. And we are now waiting for the tires, for the lights. 4, 5, and off they go. The McLaren of Kingsley already pushing into P2 as Killers pulls away immediately. The Toro Rosso goes straight in and off the track. Other drivers meanwhile are off the track. And the Red Bull touches with KJ in the Williams. Amazing start from Kingski as he actually drops down into P4 instead. Fletcher back into P2. The drivers are all pushing through the corner as the Ferrari actually spins. The Ferrari has spun that wall to bring out safety car for sure. What has happened there? Safety car, yellow flag. Here we see the Ferrari now in P16. The Mercedes of Ivan in P20. He must have been tangled in what happened there. Out of what happened here, looks like Jacob has made up one position, has he? Let's check that right now. I am not very good at this, to be honest. There you go. Jacob has actually made up 7 positions starting in P17. A very brutal start. Some drivers definitely will be getting penalty points after that. Remember, the 2 penalty points are equal to getting kicked from the league. As what is that? Jay Fletcher actually hits the Ferrari in the back. I don't think he has damage, but it looks like he was really attacking the Ferrari there. KJ has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now we see what the drivers which have been tangled up. Kingsley actually pits onto the medium compound. Quite surprising. As the 2 Renaults pull into the pits at the same time, they are getting tangled up, and that will not be not give a huge advantage to AMC. It will definitely bring up at all. ACW meanwhile in P1. This is the 4th safety car that we've had in the season already. What an amazing start from some drivers here. As we've already had drivers leave in the session, giving up after what has happened here. Kingsley and B10 2 minutes behind the leader. Can he catch up within the safety car? Here looks like he has a lap down already. That will not be too good, as the Toro Rosso actually hits him again. What is that? I don't know if the game's glitching or whether the Toro Rosso is trying to like... What is the Toro Rosso doing? What is that? And it's happening again. Looks like there might be quite a relationship between the Ferrari and Toro Rosso there. I don't know if this is just a game lag or something, but Jay Fletcher looks like he will get a penalty for overtaking under a safety car conditions, as the Ferrari now has to fight him for this. What is happening? Some of the things we see on the track we do not speak of after the race. And the Toro Rosso hits him again. What is Fletcher trying to do? He's trying to overtake the Ferrari under safety car conditions, which is obviously illegal. As he does overtake the Ferrari under safety car conditions, I think that deserves a penalty point. I don't know if this is a problem with the game or what, but this looks like something that should not be happening, probably because the 2 drivers are too close to each other. The Toro Rosso now stroking the backside of the Ferrari once again. Ferrari swimming from side to side, maybe letting Fletcher off now. The safety car leading the pack on. It is happening again. These 2 are stroking each other, going on top and below each other. I do not want to know what these 2 drivers do with each other in real life, to be honest, at this point. Never mind. Let's leave those 2 to their own relationship, as they actually push each other once again. Jacob in P6. And quite an amazing run, up by 11 positions. Obviously he's made up a ton of positions after drivers have been pitting. KJ, the pole position sitter, the driver who has had the pole position last race, I mean, in P12, this does not look like the best race for him. Kingsley in P10, losing 4 positions on the start, but there's no doubt Kingsley will be pushing back. That's also Fletcher has now given off. Has he? No, he hasn't. He's right back. Safety car is in this lap. The drivers are now entering sector 3, and we are ready for. Okay, I wasn't ready for that, but we are ready for more fighting. Hopefully, the fighting that we see on track will not consist of these type of glitches. The McLaren must be now traumatized with seeing what is happening between the 2 drivers ahead of him. As KJ actually gets a 5-second penalty. And the Toro Rosso is now attacking the McLaren. He is holding the McLaren back while the safety car is in. This is all good for KJ, who can pull off slightly while the Toro Rosso is controlling the pace of the rest of the pack. As they cannot overtake, he cuts the corner slightly. 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. Approximators. And here we go. AMC also gets a 5-second penalty as the Ferrari spins on the start finish straight. Will that bring out another safety car? No, it will not. The Toro Rosso is now leading the race. ACW in right behind him. The Toro Rosso squeezing him into a Toro Rosso sandwich right behind. Jacob now into B5 while the Force India. Sorry, the Racing Point right behind him, B4. Let's take a look down the pack. Kingsley in P9 making what was probably a beautiful overtake on P10. KJ in P11, AMC in down lower. As there is another yellow flag. The Alfa Romeo looking for look up on NRG. Jonathan, well not Jonathan, but Fletcher up in P1. Now pulling away by 0.6 of a second, 0.7 of a second. ACW right behind him on his tail, just a few hundred yards behind. Will he manage to fight onto him and take the lead of this race? As there is a yellow flag into sector 2. The Toro Rosso sandwich still existing. Jacob in P5, an amazing start for him. Only 4 laps in, he's already made 7 positions. 12, sorry. His teammate NRG right behind him in P6, taking his back, saving him from any attacks from the back. He had made up 7 positions. Kingsley in P9, the same position as he was in last lap. As it looks like there is some action between a McLaren of Kingsley. Will he manage to push onto the Williams? Under the tunnel they now go in halfway through sector 3. Kingsley has shown that he is stronger on the circuit, but he's not too strong to fight for the lead. He has won the last race, so only thanks to a penalty, as Jonathan Fletcher now hits 142. I'm sorry that I'm calling him Jonathan Fletcher, but it's just the name of somebody that I know. As Kingsley now looks to make up a move up onto the inside. Can he? Kingsley, yes he does. Yes he does. He slightly cuts off the track. The Williams being pushed out. He will try to fight back. No, he will not. Let's take a look back up on the beginning of the group of the pack. The Toro Rosso now pulling away by 0.7 of a second, but the McLaren is not giving up. He is still there by 0.7, 0.685 right now. The gaps are starting to grow. Kingsley, we've just seen a beautiful overtake into the start-finish straight. He is in P8. He is still down by 5 positions, but he will be capable of making them all up after what we've just seen. 2 drivers are in the pits. That is killers. Actually, KJ has retired from the session. We have our first retirement of the day, and a virtual safety car. We now take a look back at the start of the field, where we see the Toro Rosso, which will probably be attacking someone next driver again. Last time he was attacking a Ferrari. This time he will probably be attacking the safety car. There is no safety car, as it is just a virtual one. The drivers must therefore control their pace, going into every corner, going into every straight. Exceeding it will lead to a penalty. That is quite amazing. Killer's going from P1. He has spun on the start finish straight. I will be willing to see the highlight of that and the screenshot of the screen recording, whatever, of what happened there. P18 for Killers, as most 10 gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, obviously, of corner cutting, etc. This is a very sad race for Killers, 53 seconds behind the leader. He has shown that he is capable of being an amazing driver on this track. He can do something amazing as NRG gets another penalty. The race resumes with Fletcher back in P1. The McLaren, thanks to the virtual safety car, he is now by only 0.3 seconds behind. He is waiting for the DRS capability on the start finish straight. He has just gone out of the DRS zone. As he has a full tank of DRS, he is saving the energy. He knows that by slipstream he does not need to waste all his energy, but he will go into a overtake mode sooner or later. As Jacob gets a 3-second time penalty around this track, it is very possible for drivers to be disqualified. Plenty of places where they can get penalties. Jacob in P5 though, amazing start for him, as his teammate will look up his inside at some point in this race. As NRG makes a slight mistake, costing him a few 300ths of a second to ATW. Kingski now still fairly close, and he will be capable of fighting ACW. Where is he? AMC, sorry. P12 in the Renault, after a very strong finish last race for the driver. He was definitely going into this race hoping for something amazing. Lap 6 it is, and the Renault is now pushing the car through every single corner. He wants to prove what he is capable of. 3-second time penalty for Kingski. This will not be too good for him. Last race he was the one that won the race thanks to penalties. As ATW pulls into the inside, trying to defend into turn 1, as Kingski goes around the outside. Doesn't look like he is too close to make the move, but yes he is. Round the outside into turn 2, I think it was. Kingski now pushing it around the Alfa Romeo. Beautiful overtake for a second time this race. Kingski proves that his overtaking skills are just amazing. This driver is amazing at overtaking. He might have a look up onto the inside of the Mercedes. No, the Haas, sorry. The two Hasses are being, the Haas is being held up by Jacob, as he now takes a look into the inside. Jacob squeezes him out, not letting him make an overtake. We have seen a fastest lap by one of the drivers right now. Jacob is clearly holding it back up. He is starting a train. Let's take a look up the track again. The McLaren's still up, right behind Fletcher, only a few hundred yards, 0.6 of a second behind the leader. ACW will definitely be trying to make a perfect call on the pits. They're both on the same tyre compound, as Kingski is now P7. The Red Bull now pushing it through every corner, trying to make it into P8. This will be a strategy game for many drivers. Jacob's still holding the pack down. He has had an amazing start going into P5 after making up 12 positions, but he is holding up his teammates. He is holding up different drivers. He is holding up Kingski, who will be definitely annoyed, as he is strong enough to fight for a win here. As Kingski now tries to go up on the inside, he is being blocked by NRG and the other Haas. He is trying to make a move, as Kingsley does make a move around the outside. Can he hold on though? No, he cannot. The Haas remains in front. All the drivers are definitely getting really annoyed if this was F1 Esports. This might have led to serious drama. After all, this is F1 Esports, but not the most serious of the races we have seen. This is only a test race, as Alfa Romeo actually tries to make a move on Kingsley. No, he does not, by the Red Bull. He is getting pounced by the Red Bull of Manuel, who manages to make a move really beautiful. Manuel is now being, he was about to push into Kingsley, as the two Hasses have made a mistake. They have touched, they are both in the wall. They are now losing space. Kingsley, Jacob, sorry, in P16. Kingsley in P5. Safety car. Guess what? It's a safety car. It has come out at the perfect time for Kingsley, as he has lost a lot of ERS in that fight. He is at 27%. He will want to make it all up during the safety car. He will also want to catch up to the starting drivers. ACW once again given the chance to pounce back on Fletcher with another safety car. 0.7 seconds behind him he is right now. Will he be capable of something more than P2? I strongly think he will. this race has already had 3 safety cars, and we are only on lap 8, which is quite spectacular if you ask me. Last race was around Austria, of course, a much wider circuit, which apart from Zone 1 seems to be a much safer circuit to drive. As is that Kingski going into the boxes? Yes, he is. Kingski in P6 now. Yes, he is going into the boxes for a second time. Is that correct? Let's just take a look. Kingski. I know it's his first stop, but last time it was a different McLaren. He is now going in on the hard tyre. He will be trying to push for the rest of the race, as he's now being held up in the pits. After other drivers had to leave, thanks to the safety car, he will be right behind them right now. Many drivers have pitted. Jacob back in P14, AMC in P15, Ivan lower down. Because of the penalties, ACW is now on 6th, while Hybrid has made up positions into 5th. The Ferrari of Kimi in P4. ATW makes it into P2 in his Alfa Romeo. The pack is led by Manuel in the Red Bull, who has made 1 stop already. He might be trying to play the strategy game. The drivers behind him, a Williams and an Alfa Romeo, they haven't stopped yet, which might be costly for them later. Lap 9 or 31 might be considered a bit of an early time to pit, but it was quite worthy for the drivers that have done so already. 3-second time penalty for NRG after multiple warnings. Another driver makes the penalty list. We've seen some amazing racing, we've seen some amazing crashes. The Ferrari of Killers, the former winner, or not winner, but leader of this race in P12. Killers has made 1 stop, if I am correct. Yes, he has made 1 stop. He will be wanting to make up some positions right now under the safety car, as Alonso gets a 5-second penalty for multiple warnings. These drivers are racking up penalties day, night, left, right and centre. 2 Toro Rossos now hit together with Fletcher and Ryan. Kimi in P4, of course. We have not received any information that the safety car will be pulling in, but will it? No, it will be not. The safety car remains on track for another lap, as there is some drama and the top 4 are very close to each other, top 5, sorry. As on the mini map we see Ivan really far behind after making a 2nd stop. The Williams dragging his car through the circuit. The Red Bull being closely hunted down by ATW, the driver who has not made a stop yet. His tyres will be close to dead in a few laps. If you look at the tyres, Manuel is on 8 laps on his medium compound, while ATW is on his medium compound for 9. Not much of a difference, but the main drivers, most drivers are now on hard tyres. They will be trying to push it to the end of this race, either on this compound or switch to a different compound at the very end and push for something more. The win is now in the hands of many drivers. What could be seen as one of the most aggressive drivers capable of doing something big on the track right now is ACW, with 1 lap on his hard tyres. His tyres are fresh, his tyres are warm, his tyres are not worn out. For the drivers in front of him, yes, they are on softer tyres, they are on faster tyres, but will the tyres hold on? Medium tyres are on this track. 9 laps are not, it's not really the best idea. Kingski in P9 after making a stop. He will be pushing his McLaren through every single corner. Amazing start if you ask me. Race control has just announced that the safety car will be in this lap. All eyes are on the front pack, who are now hunting each other down, just like panthers, just like tigers. Just like Max Verstappen's, they are trying to overtake each other as most aggressively as possible, as most 10 gets a 5-second time penalty. these drivers, as I have said, little Max Verstappen's aggressive drivers, willing to make a move into any single space they are given. After all, as a wise man once said, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you are no longer a racing driver. These drivers will be going for a lap for a gap that exists. As the Red Bull goes slowly, he restarts the race. Green flags. We go again. As Alfa Romeo takes a look, Kingsley tries to overtake, but he does not manage to hold on. Big drama up here as Kingsley makes a move. Does he? No, he does not. The Williams fights back into P3. Kingsley has gearbox issues. He is upshifting really late. Looks like he has problems with his wheel, which will be very costly for him. Very unfortunate for the driver, as he is now overtaken by several drivers. Fletcher now in P6, Manuel in P1, still leading. And here he is, Kingsley, hauling down with his gearbox issues. He has to let the other drivers through. This is very unfortunate, as we now see the Williams hitting up on the P2. Killer's in P8, making up more positions from where he was just a moment ago, as we have yellow flags into Sector 2. Kingsley with his problems, very unfortunate. His gearbox is back up and working. He is in P11. NRG and the Haas, which has just had an incident, is now pushing up on the Toro Rosso right behind him. Just 0.4 seconds behind. He was actually pulling up close to Killers, who is pulling up closer to the Toro Rosso. This pack has Fletcher actually glitches into the ground. He will be engraving his lead as he glitches out and back into this race. Sector 3 now holds double yellow flags. The driver's now pushing through. No, not much overtakes, as we actually see the Ferrari pushing through. Can he make the move stick? Can he go through up on the inside? He will have the inside into the next corner, but will he manage to make the move? Yes, he does. Light touching there between the two drivers. But he is still fighting. Now the Racing Points will have the inside into the next corner. What will the Ferrari do? The Ferrari of Killers now trying to make an overtake. He goes behind the Racing Point. The Toro Rosso trying to make a move up on both of these drivers, while his contestant in the Haas, NRG, is fighting for a strong position. As NRG goes up in the inside, the Toro Rosso leaves him a lot of space. Killer's now in P8, still trying to make a look up on the P7. As there is a lot of drama between the top drivers, ACW now going around the drivers. What will he do right now? Poor P4 is a position ahead of him. He is on softer compounds than the driver behind, but he is on identical compounds, on identical lap times to the driver ahead. As the Toro Rosso, the McLaren flinches off to the side. Manuel still leading up the race. In the Red Bull, he is now pulling away by 1.5 seconds. He is away out of the slipstream of the other drivers and out of the DRS zone of the other drivers. A big train starting to form on only lap P12 between all the drivers. Every single driver must defend but attack at the same time. The only driver that is in a comfortable position at this point is Manuel. The other comfortable driver at this position is KJ. He is DNFing and watching this race, as we actually see ATW in the pits, making the pit stop after an 11 lap sprint on these tyres. This puts the Williams in P2, while Manuel still leads on 11 lap compounds. The driver behind him is the Williams of TVHIC. 12 laps on the hard compounds, but of course the hard compounds can live for a lot longer. Most times gets another 5-second time penalty. As the Toro Rosso looks for a move up on the inside of the Williams for P2. Can he make the move? Can he make the move? Can he make the move? This is Fletcher. What am I doing? Fletcher, they touch, I repeat, they touch. The Williams goes into a spin. Guess what? That is another safety car, I bet. The Racing Point makes up positions as the Williams is still sideways onto the track. Where is the safety car, you may ask? There is only double yellow flags in Sector 2. Killer's in P4. Amazing sprint race for him. He is back up and trying to make an amazing overtake onto the other drivers. clinching an amazing win. He has a ton of laps left, more than 15 laps left, more than half race left. ACW and P2 comfortably racing out of the DRS and all the drivers behind him. Manuel now 2.6 seconds in front of the other drivers. He is pulling away easily. Killer's in P4 while the Williams has spun. Let's take a look. He is in P14 after being second. He could have pit a lap earlier as Killers has left the session. Something amazing, something spectacular. The Ferrari, which had such amazing pace in this race, he was capable of doing something amazing. He has left the session, unfortunately, probably due to a glitch or internet problems. The racing point now, Liam P4, getting strongly pushed by the Toro Rosso behind him, or Fletcher. Hopefully the Fletcher does not attack the other drivers. TVH Ice-T has retired from the session on 12 lap compound tyres. Side race for him as all eyes are now on the Toro Rosso going around the inside, around the outside I mean, and now the inside of the Force India, a racing point. Back again we see this Toro Rosso sandwich, two drivers pushing on the Force India racing point once again. I am sorry for making this mistake of the team's name. ACW now in P1. He is chasing down Manuel. The Ferrari's trying to live up the legacy of his former teammate. Of his teammate Killers, who is now out of the race due to being disconnected. As ACW now makes a wide attempt onto Manuel. What will we see here? This is definitely a big fight coming up. Manuel was on 12 lap compound tyres, 12 lap medium, soft. No, medium compound tyres. There are no drives on soft compound tyres anymore. The driver behind him is on hard compound tyres, so 5 laps. And Manuel will be struggling. 5% ERS, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look down at the bottom right corner of your screen. As we can see, he is making up the ERS on every corner that he can, but he is also losing it because he is probably in a very rich mode. The driver behind him, ACW in the McLaren, has tons of it, 82%. As he now is in the slipstream and the DRS, will he make the move? ACW up at the outside. Yes, he makes a move, beautiful move. As Manuel is hauling behind, 7% as ACW takes the lead of this race on 6 lap hard compound tyres. KJ has left the session. The driver has, received pole position last race. He is now leaving the session. 2 drivers out, 1 DNF, 4 safety cars, and plenty of penalties. What a race. The Toro Rosso now looking up on the inside of the racing point. It's important that we all see the amount of fuel and the amount of ERS that these drivers have, because that is what makes a difference in this race, as well as the slipstream that is now being clearly visible in this little fights between the 2 drivers. For the P5, the higher ranked position, the position which will give the drivers more of a reputation for good driving into the future races. Fletcher now behind P2 and P3 as the Red Bull pulls into the pits, and the Toro Rosso will look as if he was trying to make the move. Fletcher, he makes the move. Will he make the move? Yes, Fletcher, he has made the move. Kimi behind in P3. Fletcher will be chasing ACW now. 3 seconds behind, but he is capable. He is capable, I repeat, he is capable. Kimi now behind 14 lap tyres. His tyres are worn, and so are his hands, so are his feet, and so are his eyes sore, but he is still pulling into the slipstream and the DRS of Fletcher. Now he has made a loss of quite a bit of time there. AMC and P9, as we see a fight for P4 between Ryan, the racing point, and the and NRG and the Haas. His NRG here will be trying to make the move that looked as if the Racing Point was about to slip. To be honest, I was getting kind of scared there. What will he do with the number 24 Jack and Jones Haas team driver? Slipstream, no DRS at this point in the track, but he is in the slipstream, tucking in behind the behind P5. Just 0.4 seconds behind. Better exit out of the corner as he now maximalizes the track as much as he can. All these drives on the same compound tyre, which are all worn to the same level. With more ERS, he will be pouncing and pouncing. Once again, we can use a metaphor. A mini Max Verstappen we see here. He will be trying to make something great happen here again. While Donald Trump tries to make America great again, NRG tries to make Haas make it great again. Looks like he is slightly giving off, but he brakes really late, pushing it right on the edge. As we now see Fletcher back into P2 after drivers have made pit stops. ACW pulling away by 3 seconds on 8-lap hard compound tyres from Fletcher. Kimi now 2 seconds behind that, and Ryan a further 2 seconds behind that. Our Racing Point now Haas are still fighting the 24. The number 24 of the Haas is almost clipping the edge of the Racing Point. Savvy must now fight for every single corner, every single millimeter of the track, because every single corner, every single millimeter will be giving him the slight edge into the next straight, which is something that he needs. He needs to make up as much time as possible to this driver behind him, because the Haas of NRG is not going to give up, as Savvy actually makes a mistake by going very wide and the Haas goes very close. Can he make it? NRG, I reckon he could have made that move there, but it was smart, very sportsmanlike conduct there to lift off and not risk damage and DNFing of both drivers. Under the corner, oh, he has hit the wall after being capable of fighting for something more than what he is currently sitting in, which is P6. He has hit the wall. He has got damage. NRG in the Haas has got damage. Very good news for Savvy and the Racing Point, who is now able to pull away. What do we see here? The Renault of AMC making the move. AMC. Yes, he does make the move. Will the McLaren fight back? No, he will not. He is too far behind at the moment, but he will be in the slipstream, which is something that the Renault has a bit less of. But he is being pushed by the number 22 of in the Haas. Kinski in the McLaren. He has just been overtaken, but he is still in the DRS of the car ahead. What will he do here? He is pulling away. 0.6 of a second. AMC has made a beautiful move. As AMC now takes a look up on the Racing Point, all drivers here are quite compressed, as we see Jacob now possibly pulling all the drivers back, as we have a virtual safety car. What has happened this time? Looks like it's to do with NRG. Yes, it is to do with NRG. He was on 0-lap compound tyres. Looks like it must have been something while coming out of the pits. Third retirement of the race for NRG. ACW now leading the race. We do not have any more safety car information on the screen, which means that the drivers are back up and racing under green flag conditions. ACW pulls away by 2.4 seconds in front of Fletcher. Ryan pulling into P4 with the Toro Rosso, while Savvy is behind him 0.3 seconds, as all eyes are on the train, which is made here as FPL Magic Alonso is now trying to make the move, as we see the McLaren, who failed going into the pit stops, but he does make the pits. The Red Bull now trying to make a move as well, as Alfa Romeo pulls into Jacob. Jacob goes very slow through these corners, but here they are completing sector 1. the Alfa Romeo will have DRS, will he? Yes, he does have DRS on the next straight. Jacob does not. Jacob does not have slipstream either. Jacob will be under serious authority as the Alfa Romeo of Alonso makes a move. Alfa Romeo makes a move. Will he? Luckily enough, Jacob does not act as dirty as he did last week. He does not bump tyres into this corner. Amazing race. I am absolutely stunned as how amazing this race is going right now. All these races in this league are just amazing. I really cannot wait for the actual league to begin. After all, these are just test races. ACW and the McLaren pulling away by 8.1 seconds, a huge gap, giving him huge comfort. He is on the hard compound tyres, 10 laps on them, while the driver behind, Kimi in the Ferrari, is on the 17 lap worn hard compound tyres. Lap 19 of 31. Lap 20 now commences, as we now see the Renault now pushing up on the racing point once again. He loses some time into the tunnel section as he now tries to he will be now trying to get some nice slipstream and DRS into the start finish straight. Corner 22 they go through right now. Corner 23 they go through right now. Looks like the driver in the Renault is too far away to make a move into turn 1, but he will still have DRS into the next turn unless he makes some serious mistake, which is quite unlikely for this driver. AMC is making up a lot of time throughout the entirety of this race. Running in P6 right now, pushing on the racing points. Here he goes. Here he goes. He will be trying to push as behind him. There is now a fight as well. Here goes the Renault of AMC trying to achieve something spectacular. Trying to achieve something spectacular through that corner. A bit impossible right there, but now they go through into sector 2. What can these drivers complete around here? As we look at the ERS standings right now, the driver ahead has 65% ERS while the driver behind has 56%, although that is not too much of a difference. It is always there if one of the drivers decides to split up and make some and use some more ERS. The driver behind will have some problems. Looks like AMC is dominating this race. 8.7 seconds. Now there's a gap as he makes a mistake, costing him a tiny bit of time. Not sufficient enough, of course, for the Ferrari to overtake. Jacob running in P7. The Renault still in P6, trying to push up on AMC as we now take a look up on Kingski, driving in P13. Stunning on race for the driver after driving so well. He dropped down. Gearbox issues, clearly something wrong with his wheel or pad. I really doubt that this very skilled driver has been downshifting and upshifting too late. This is not career mode. This is not where gearbox issues can come in. This is as if all drivers are getting a fresh engine, a fresh chassis and a fresh gearbox for every single race. Kill is now running in P17, of course, in his AFK Ghost. The Renault still pressuring the car ahead. 2 racing points are in front of him. The racing points will be tagging along, but the point of racing is to overtake, and that is exactly what the Renault is trying to do. 51% ERS while the driver ahead is saving ERS actually, or still managing to hold off. He is saving energy. Beautiful shots of these drivers around the Yas Marina circuit. As I've said before, 23 corners of this beautiful track, seaside track and a seaside country. A country that has re-established itself from being quite poor to being one of the most exclusive places to live in the world. The last few drivers now AFK, the last running driver is Alonso, who has pitted. He is on the soft compound tyre. He will be trying to make the next 9 laps on the softs. Kingsley running in P11, 80 seconds behind the driver ahead of him. Jacob has got a 3-second time penalty. Surprised I am not. AMC now pulling back from the driver ahead. He is on 33% ERS, while the driver ahead is on 65. This is not good news for the Renault. He will be struggling in later parts of the race, as we now take a look at the dominant performance. ACW is on 13 laps on this hard compound tyre. If he manages to hold on for the next 9 laps, he will win the race with ease. The driver behind him, Kimi, is on his compounds for 20 laps, which is establishing our understanding, showing us that 20 laps is something that can happen. Jacob has left the session after running in P15, yellow flags into that corner. The Renault is pushing Force India, the Racing Point, throughout the entirety of this race. He has not shown much of this Max Verstappen spirit, the spirit of pushing at all costs, of going for a gap that exists. Does he go into the pits? Yes, he does. The Renault goes into the pits. AMC pits now. He gets overtaken. Lap 23 of 31. He will be leaving on lap 24 as he gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. A fastest lap is now set by Fletcher. Fletcher is running in P8. He is catching up on the Red Bull. This is Fletcher. We are on board with him right now, trying to make the move around the outside, trying to make the move around the inside. Can he hold on? He is now in front. Fletcher is in front. I confirm Fletcher is in front. The Red Bull has given up. He knows he cannot fight with the driver, which was once leading this race. Fletcher has 8 laps now to try and regain the lead of this race. Let's take a quick look. Fletcher is 38 seconds behind the leader. Does not look like he has a chance of winning this race anymore, unless we have another safety car, which of course is something very possible in this league. Driver spread out, not much drama coming around right now, but the lights of Reiki are now flashing in the eyes of Manuel in the Red Bull, who now tries to make a beautiful overtake around the outside. Can he hold on though? Can he make the move stick? On the softer compounds, he makes a move into the tunnel section. He loses his front wing. So does the Racing Point. That has brought out a safety car. It must bring out a safety car, I am sure. He is still driving with a front wing, which is kind of surprising after we saw some debris flying around. But do the drivers pit? The Red Bull does not pit, which is kind of surprising, but the Force India, the Racing Point, does. What could have turned into an amazing story for Fletcher because of another safety car has turned out into a throwback to reality. There is no safety car. Hence, the drivers continue to race. Fletcher still running in P5. ACW still continuing his dominant performance, going through every single corner beautifully right now. 11 seconds ahead of Kimi in the Ferrari. But now the Renault. Oh, that is a back marker, never mind. If we take a look at position changes, we see that the drivers who are now leading are actually, quite surprisingly, at the top of the pack. They have all made up 3 positions, apart from Savi has made up 12. Fletcher has lost 3 after starting in P2. Sector 2 and 3 now undergo safety cars, now undergo double yellows, as we saw the firing brakes of this driver. He is absolutely hammering his car to the limit. Hybrid knows that he wants a good performance this race. Fletcher now going through the start-finish straight. 7v4. Your current podium sitters, ACW, us, Kimi and Ryan. Here we see Ivan, who is AFK now off track. I do not know if the driver ahead of him is AFK or not. No, that is Kimi. Fletcher currently holds the fastest lap. We now look at Ryan, who is closing down on P2 as Alonso gets another penalty for corner cutting and gaining a place. Where is our boy Alonso? Here we see him running in the Alfa Romeo. Kingski in P9, he is pushing on the Alfa Romeo of ATW. Not the best race for him, he was definitely hard from call, and on the podium at least. But these are only test races, we've got to remember that. P2 is being chased down. 5 laps left. Can Ryan do this? 1.4 seconds behind the Ferrari. If we take a look, the Ferrari looks like he is going to have a comfortable race now. With that much ERS compared to the driver behind him, there is not much chance of failure. But there always is a but. The Tarosso's closed it down 1.6 seconds now. He was 1.5 seconds a second ago. Kingsley gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as he's actually in P8 now. Unfortunately we missed that overtake, but we now see how ATW is fighting. He now has DRS on one of the best drivers in this league. As he hits the wall, he has lost tons of time there, allowing Kingsley to move away. 3 stops is currently the average for the pack here today. The 2 Red Bulls seem to be quite close together, as Hybrid Sortex now gets a 3-second time penalty. This grid will be very, very mixed after this race. I am sure that the way we see it right now will not be the way we see it afterwards. As we see another 3-second time penalty. So many drivers are getting so many penalties. Ryan is now 1.3 seconds behind the Ferrari, chasing down P2. He needs it. He wants it. He knows that he will get it. All he needs is a continuous determination. 32% ERS now, compared to the 75% of the Ferrari ahead of him. They are both preparing for a battle. 1.1 seconds is the distance between the Toro Rosso and the Ferrari right now. Quite a spectacular recovery from the driver. 1.3 now, he loses time. 1.4. 1.4. But he is still close. He knows he deserves it. His performance currently amazing. ACW continues to lead this race on, as always, a Lewis Hamilton type performance, or a Valtteri Bottas at Australia 2019, sorry. Very dominant, very strong. As Reiki gets a 5-second time penalty. 13 seconds separates the leader from P2. Only 1.4 separates the P2 both 3. We now saw an overtake that has taken place between these drivers, as we now see one of the drivers hitting one of the back markers. As Sector 2 hits a yellow flag, Fletcher now trying to push for P4. Savi is ahead of him. Savi will want to hold on. 44% ERS to the 40% of the driver behind him. What will these drivers do? The Toro Rosso now pushing the limits of the track very eagerly. going around through the tunnel section, last corners of this lap. As Savi has some wheel spin into that corner. Here comes the slipstream, here comes the DRS, here comes Fletcher trying to make an overtake. Walkie, no, he will not. He is too far away. They come very close to touching into turn 1. He is making a very mature move. He is trying to hold back. Now here comes the 2 long straights. They're not too long, but for this type of track they are very long. As he will try to make an overtake up on the inside, he has DRS. He has just clipped into the rear right tyre of Savi. What will he do here? He seems to be too far unless he makes a Danny Rick dive bomb. No big balls move from him today. AMC actually makes a position right now, as it looks like Alonso is in the pits. Fletcher still catching up as Savi glitches a lot, some sort of problems between the 2 drivers and the internet as he goes. What is happening here? This is quite spectacular. First Fletcher tries to attack people and then Fletcher hits the wall. That might be his race done. I am so confused. I am so confused. What is actually going on? Well, the one thing we know is that Savi is now capable of running away and driving away, as Ryan is now 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds behind the Ferrari of Kimi. 3 or 2 as now 3 laps left of this race. ACW extends his lead 14.7 seconds. The driver behind is now catching up 1.6 seconds, 1.1. He will soon be in the DRS zone of the driver ahead of him. He will be able to tuck into the slipstream. He will be able to tuck into the road of aerodynamics. He will be able to open his rear wing. 1.4 seconds now separates the 2 drivers. We now take a look at Kingsley. He now drives the track. Individually he has a driver up ahead of him. Hybrid stall tax that is, but it seems as if he's a bit too far with 3 stops. The one in P7, that is quite spectacular. The top drivers have only made 1 stop, while the back markers have made 7 pit stops. That is not something that we're seeing here today. That is not something too common. That is something that only Jenson Button can do at Canada in 2011. And IG now leaves the session as Fletcher ghosts. We'll put 1 second separate the 2 drivers. How far can Ryan get? An amazing race for him right now. He is pushing the Ferrari to its very limits. The Ferrari now has 2 laps left. 84% ERS. He can run the rest in a high consumption. The driver behind has only 25% ERS now. 2 laps left. 2 laps left, ladies and gentlemen, as Ryan actually makes the DRS zone of the driver ahead of him. 0.9 seconds, 0.8 in front, behind. He will have DRS into the following corners. What can he do now? Pushing the car through every single turn, threading every single needle possible. Beautifully tucking behind, DRS activated, but he is still far away. 0.8 seconds. He is trying to catch up as ACW now makes his lead a 15-second one, but all eyes are on the 2 drivers here. They are pushing each other to the limits throughout the entirety of this race. The Ferrari, of course, having a much more comfortable ride, but Ryan is now 0.7 seconds away. They are so close. This will look like some last lap drama from the 2 drivers as we take a quick look down the pack. As we see AMC spinning without bringing out a safety car, that will be some very bad news for Ryan, who does not want a safety car anymore, as AMC now, after being in a spin, has extreme tyre temperatures. Ryan is now 0.7 seconds away, going through the tunnel. Hopefully he does not hit the wall. No, he does not. He threads the corner very well. Will he make the move stick? Will he even come up to the move? some of the drivers have begged me to shout during this race. I promise you I will do. If Ryan makes this move while he is making the move before and after, I will be shouting. Kingski now in P6, pushing onto Hybrid's Nortax, who is seeming like he is too far away to be under danger. 0.7 seconds. We have two fights right here on track. Looks like this was a race for the two drivers. The drivers are now going through for the last lap of this race. Kingski is very close. .6 seconds, while Ryan is 0.7 behind Kimi. What will they do here? All drivers have been burning the RS as much as possible. The Ferrari has problems regarding fuel consumption. He might run out of fuel for the end of this race. As two drivers go into a spin, ACW has gearbox issues, he's got fuel issues, but here he goes, dominant performance for the driver, last corners, fireworks, beautiful race. He now finishes it as the Ferrari goes through the corners. Doesn't look like Ryan could do anything. Fireworks are now colouring the track. Beautiful race. I wish it didn't finish. I wish I saw the fight between P2 and P3, but here is Kingski. He has still time to overtake into P5. We take a quick look down the field to see if there's any other fights coming. No, there are not. Here is the last lap drama between the two drivers. They now see the fireworks. They know that the end is near. They know that they have to hold. Hybrid knows that he has to hold on, while Kingsley knows that he has to make the move right now. Right here, right now, as they go into the tunnel section, Kingsley is hoping for a problem, a mistake from Hybrid, but Hybrid seems to be holding on. Kingsley makes a move. No, he does not. He actually goes cutting through the corner, which leads him to a worse run into the next corner. He's praying for Hybrid to make a mistake into the next corner, but he does not. Hybrid takes P5, Kingsley takes P6. Fletcher now in P9, ghosting the car. AMC in P12 going very slowly, fuel issues. Two Mercedes further down, finishing off the race. Former race leader Manuel is now in P11. He crosses the finish line. Amazing race. But not everything is over here. We still do not know how this race will end. As we must remember that there are penalties to be added on. McLaren on P1, Ferrari in P2, Toros in P3. Beautiful race there on the Singapore Yas Marina circuit. Absolutely amazing driving. We have seen many incidents. The tradition of free safety cars lives on. And here is your grid after all penalties have been added. ACW wins the race for McLaren after starting 4th. With only one pit stop, he makes the win. Kingsley starts 3rd and 6th with 3 pit stops. Quite surprising that this amount of pit stops could actually get him that kind of high. Here we see the American representative in the Racing Point, who started 7th, he has dropped down to 8th. 3 stops, still an amazing performance. Fletcher in P9 after starting 2nd. He has been leading the race, but this was not his race. AMC P12 in the Renault. Not the best performance from him. Killers though. I feel so sorry for the man in Ferrari, starting in P1, 2 pit stops, finishing all the way down in P15 and disconnecting from the race. This was the Yas Marina Grand Prix. I hope you enjoyed it. Soon we will have the voting for driver of the day in this amazing Grand Prix. 3 safety cars, 4 actually I think there were. Overall, amazing performance from all drivers. AWC should be very proud of what he has achieved today. This is where we end the stream. I hope you've enjoyed this race. It's been a pleasure to commentate. Absolutely amazing, spectacular racing we've seen from the drivers. Some of them have crashed, some of them have brought out safety cars, some of them have set fast laps. We've had many leaders in this race. But here it is, the race is over. AWC has won it. Congratulations to all the drivers who finished this race. Congratulations to those that haven't. Because even though they have taken part in one of the most amazing races that I've seen in a long time. This was Test Race 2. My name is Oliver. You might know me as SHR Risk. And I thank you for being with us here today.